Today we will listen to the second story of Betel Pachisi titled, Who is the Husband? So let's start. After hard work, King Vikramaditya captured Betel. He carried it on his shoulder and headed towards the crematorium. On the way, Betel started a new story and said, Rajan, this is a long road. Let us make it interesting with a story. But remember, if you don't say anything despite knowing the answer to my story, your head will explode. And if you answer, I will return to the tree again. Years ago there was a city on the banks of river Yamuna, which was called Dharampur. There lived a Brahmin, whose name was Ganapati. Ganapati had a beautiful and virtuous daughter. When she became marriageable, the family started searching for a suitable groom for her. One day Ganapati went to someone's house to perform puja, and his son also went out to study. Only his wife and daughter were present in the house. Just then, a Brahmin youth came to his house. His wife welcomed him and fed him. She liked the nature of the young man very much, and she immediately promised to get her daughter married to him. Meanwhile, Ganapati met another Brahmin youth while performing the puja. Seeing his intelligence and conduct, Ganapati also decided to marry his daughter to him. On the other hand, Ganapati's son also met a Brahmin boy where he was studying and promised to make him his sister's groom. One day, Ganapati and his son reached home with their respective grooms, but a third youth was already present there. Now all three young men were in the house, and everyone had been promised marriage. There was confusion in the entire family as to whom the girl should get married to. Meanwhile, a person came running from the neighborhood and informed that his daughter had been bitten by a snake. The family and the three youths immediately reached the spot, but by then, the girl had died. The girl's death deeply saddened everyone. Preparations for his funeral were made, and his rites were performed. The girl's family and the three Brahmin youths were immersed in grief in their own ways. The three youths took different decisions. The first young man took the girl's bones and went into the forest. The second one tied his ashes in a bundle and started living in the same crematorium. The third Brahmin became a yogi and went out to travel from country to country. Years later, the yogi Brahmin reached the house of a tantric. The tantric welcomed him and requested him to stay in his house. Yogi started living in tantric's house. One day the tantric was engrossed in his meditation and his wife was cooking food. Meanwhile his son started crying loudly. The tantric's wife tried hard to silence him, but he did not agree. In anger he threw his son into the stove. Yogi was stunned to see this scene. He got ready to leave the tantric's house in anger. Just then the tantric reached there and requested the yogi to stay. Yogi replied angrily, I cannot stay in a house where there is so much cruelty. The tantric smiled and went near the stove and recited a mantra. As soon as he recited the mantra, his son came alive. Yogi was surprised to see this. A thought came to his mind that if he could get hold of this book, he too could bring that girl back alive. At night, when the tantric and his family were sleeping, the yogi stole the book containing the mantra and went straight to the crematorium, where the girl was cremated. He told his plan to another Brahmin who was living there in a hut. Together they found the third Brahmin. Yogi told them, Bring the bones and ashes of the girl, I can bring her back to life. Everyone together collected bones and ashes. Yogi recited the mantra and brought the girl back to life. After telling such a story, Betel became silent. Then he asked King Vikramaditya, Tell me, whose wife that girl will be? The king tried to remain silent at first, but Betel warned, If you don't say anything even after knowing the correct answer, your head will explode. King Vikram said, The husband of that girl will be the Brahmin, who spent his life with her ashes in the crematorium. Betel asked, Why? The king explained, The one who took the bones to the forest became like her son. The one who brought her back to life, by reciting mantras, became like her father. But the one who stayed with her ashes followed the religion of her husband. Therefore he is her husband. Hearing the answer, Betel said, You have given the correct answer, but as per the promise you had to remain silent. Therefore I am flying again to the tree. Saying this, Betel flew again and hung on a tree in the dense forest. Today we will listen to the